My blind son. When my son was born, the doctor told us he could not see. My wife and I were very sad, but we loved him. We named him James. He was a small baby with soft hair and tiny hands. He did not know he was different. He smiled when we held him. He laughed when he heard our voices. He was our little boy, and we wanted to give him a good life. As James grew, we learned how to help him. He could not see, but he could hear everything. He knew my voice and my wife's voice. He knew the sound of the wind and the rain. He touched everything with his hands. He liked to feel the soft blanket, the warm sun, and the cool water. He learned about the world in his own way. We gave him toys that made sounds. He had a small drum, a bell, and a soft toy that played music. He loved those toys. He listened to every sound around him. When James was 3 years old, he started walking. At first, he was scared. He did not know what was around him, but we held his hands and helped him step by step. He learned to walk. He touched the walls and the furniture. He listened to our voices to find his way. Soon he could walk around the house without help. He was happy and proud. He counted his steps. He knew where every chair, table, and door were. He walked with confidence, and that made us proud, too. One day, James wanted to play outside. He wanted to run like the other children. I was worried. The world outside was big and full of danger, but I did not want to stop him. I held his hand and took him to the park. The sun was bright and the air was fresh. James listened to the birds and the children laughing. He smiled and held my hand tight. I let him walk on the grass. He took slow steps. He felt the soft ground under his feet. He listened to the wind in the trees. Then I let go of my hand. He took one step, then another. He started to run. He laughed as he moved his arms wide open. I watched him, my heart full of love and fear. My blind son was running, and he was free. That day, I learned something important. James did not need to see to be happy. He did not need to see to play and explore. He only needed love, support, and the chance to try. I stood there, watching him run, and I knew he was going to be just fine. As James grew older, he wanted to do more things by himself. He did not want help all the time. He wanted to dress himself, eat by himself, and find his own way around the house. At first, it was not easy. He dropped his spoon, spilled his juice, and wore his shoes on the wrong feet. But he never gave up. Every day, he tried again. Slowly, he learned. He used his hands to feel his clothes. He touched the table to find his plate. He counted his steps to move from one room to another. He was learning how to be independent. One day he asked me, "Daddy, can I go outside alone?" His words surprised me. I did not know what to say. The world outside was big. There were cars, people, and many things he could not see. I want to keep him safe, but I also wanted to let him grow. So I made a plan. I took him to the backyard. It was a small space with grass, flowers, and a wooden fence. I showed him everything. I let him touch the trees and smell the flowers. I told him, "This is your space. You can walk here alone." At first, he was careful. He moved slowly, touching the fence and the trees. He listened to the sounds around him. Then he became more confident. He walked faster. He touched the ground, picked up leaves, and felt the rough bark of the trees. He learned where everything was. Soon he did not need my help at all. He could walk and play in the backyard on his own. One evening, I watched him sit on the grass. The sun was setting and the air was cool. He closed his eyes and smiled. "Daddy," he said, "I can feel the sun on my face. I can hear the birds. I can smell the flowers. I do not need to see. I know the world in my own way." His words touched my heart. My son did not feel sad about being blind. He found joy in everything around him. That night, I sat beside him and listened to the wind. I realized something important. My son was not weak. He was strong. He was learning to live in a world he could not see, and he was doing it with courage and happiness. I knew then that I would always support him. I would help him, but I would also let him grow, because James was not just my blind son. He was a boy full of dreams, ready to explore the world in his own way. When James turned 5, he asked me a question. "Daddy, can I go to school?" His voice was full of excitement, but my heart was full of worry. I wanted him to learn, to make friends, and to have fun. But I also knew school would be hard for him. He could not see the books. He could not run like the other children. Would they be kind to him? Would they help him? Or would they leave him behind? My wife and I talked for many nights. We wanted the best for James. Finally, we found a school that could help him. It was a small school, but the teachers were kind. They said James can learn just like other children. He only needs a little help. Those words gave me hope. So, on the first day of school, I took James by the hand and walked with him to his new classroom. The other children looked at him with curiosity. Some whispered, some asked questions. Why does he not look at us? Why does he hold his father's hand? The teacher smiled and said, "James is special. He sees the world in a different way." She gave James a seat and told the children to be his friends. I watched him sit there, his hands on the desk, listening to everything around him. I wanted to stay, but I knew I had to let him go at home. I waited all day. I wondered what he was doing. Was he happy? Was he scared when I went to pick him up? He ran to me with a big smile. "Daddy, I love school," he said. My heart felt light. He told me about the teacher, the songs they sang, and the games they played. He said, "I have a new friend. His name is Tom. He helps me find my way." Those words made me happy. James was not alone. He had a friend that night. He held my hand and said, "Daddy, I am not afraid anymore. I can do anything." His words filled me with pride. My son was growing. He was learning. He was making friends. I knew there would be hard days. I knew there would be challenges, but I also knew that James was strong. He would never give up, and I would always be there, watching him take each step one by one toward his future. As James continued school, he learned many things. He learned to read with his fingers. His books had small raised dots on the pages. This was Braille, a special way for blind people to read. At first it was hard. His fingers moved slowly over the dots. He made mistakes. He got frustrated, but he did not give up. Every night he practiced. His small fingers touched the pages again and again, and one day he read his first sentence. "I am James." He smiled and I saw pride in his face. School was not always easy. Some children did not understand him. Some were kind, but some were not. One day, he came home quiet. He did not smile. I asked him what was wrong. He spoke. "Some boys laughed at me today. They said I can't play because I can't see." My heart ached for him. I wanted to protect him from every pain, but I also knew I had to teach him to be strong. I held his hand and said, "James, you can do anything. You just have to show them." The next day, he did just that. During recess, the children played soccer. James could not see the ball, but he could hear it. He listened to the sound of feet kicking and the ball rolling. He asked Tom, his best friend, to help. Tom called out, "The ball is coming." James listened, moved fast, and kicked. The ball went straight into the goal. The children cheered. They ran to him and said, "James, you are amazing." From that day, they did not see him as just a blind boy. They saw him as a friend, a teammate, a boy just like them. At home, he told me everything. His face was bright with happiness. "Daddy, I scored a goal," he said. I hugged him tight. I knew that moment was important. He proved to himself and to others that blindness did not make him weak. It only made him different, and being different was not bad. That night, as he lay in bed, he asked me, "Daddy, do you think I can do big things when I grow up?" I looked at him and smiled. "James, you can do anything. You are strong, you are smart, and you have a big heart." He held my hand and whispered, "Then I will never stop trying." I sat beside him, feeling proud. My son was not just learning to live in a world he could not see. He was learning to shine. As James grew older, he wanted to do more. He was not just a boy who learned, he was a boy who dreamed. One evening he sat beside me and said, "Daddy, I want to learn music." His voice was full of excitement. I looked at him and smiled. "Music?" I asked. He nodded. "I love the sounds. I want to play the piano." I had never thought about this before, but I saw the joy in his face. So, the next day we went to a music school. The teacher welcomed him with kindness. She placed his hands on the piano keys and said, "Feel the music." At first it was difficult. He did not know where to place his fingers. He played the wrong notes, but he listened carefully. He felt the keys under his fingers. He practiced every day. Soon the notes became songs. His hands moved with confidence. The house was filled with music. My wife and I sat and listened to him play. We closed our eyes, and for a moment we forgot that he was blind. We only heard the beauty of his music. One day his teacher gave him a challenge. "James, we will have a concert. Would you like to play?" His hand stopped on the keys. He was silent for a moment. Then he said yes. But when we went home, he was nervous. "Daddy, what if I make a mistake?" he asked. I held his hand and said, "Mistakes don't matter. What matters is that you try." He nodded, but I knew he was still scared. The night of the concert came. The hall was full of people. The lights were bright. James sat in front of the piano. His hands were shaking. I could see his fear, but then he took a deep breath. He placed his fingers on the keys and played. The music filled the room. It was soft and beautiful. People closed their eyes and listened. When he finished, there was silence for a moment. Then the crowd stood up and clapped. James turned his head as if trying to see the people. He smiled. He could not see them, but he could hear their applause. He knew they loved his music. He stood up and bowed. My heart was full of pride. My son, who could not see the world, had made the world listen to him. That night when we came home, James sat beside me. "Daddy," he spoke. "I was afraid, but I did it." I hugged him and said, "Yes, my son, you did it, and you will do many more great things." He held my hand tightly. I knew in that moment that nothing could stop him. He was ready to dream, to try, and to succeed. As the years passed, James continued to grow, learn, and dream. He was not just a boy with blindness. He was a boy with determination. One day, he came to me with a big smile. "Daddy, I want to help others like me," he said. I looked at him with curiosity. "How do you want to help them?" I asked. He took a deep breath and said, "I want to teach blind children. I want to show them that they can do anything." His words touched my heart. He had faced many challenges, but now he wanted to help others overcome theirs. James started visiting a school for blind children. At first, he only listened to their stories. Some of them were scared. Some of them felt alone. But James understood them. He told them about his journey. He told them how he learned to walk, to read, to play, and to follow his dreams. "You're not alone," he said. "You can do anything." The children listened to him with hope in their eyes. They started to believe in themselves because James believed in them. One day, a little boy came to him. "James, I'm afraid to walk alone," he said. James smiled and took his hand. "I was afraid too," he said, "but you just need to take the first step." He guided the boy step by step, just as I had once guided him. The boy laughed with joy. He had done something he never thought he could do. That night, James told me about it. His face was full of happiness. "Daddy, I helped someone today," he said. I hugged him tightly. "You are changing lives, my son," I whispered. His love for helping others grew stronger. He started teaching music to blind children. He showed them how to feel the piano keys, how to listen to the notes, and how to trust themselves. "Music is not about seeing," he said. "It is about feeling." The children played with excitement. Their world, once full of darkness, now had light through music. James was not just a student anymore. He had become a teacher, a guide, and a source of inspiration. One evening, as we sat in the backyard, James held my hand. "Daddy," he said, "I used to think my blindness was a weakness, but now I see that it is my strength." His words made my eyes fill with tears. My son, who was once a little boy, afraid to walk alone, had grown into a young man who helped others find their way. He was not just living his life. He was making a difference in the lives of others that night. As I watched him sit under the stars, I felt something deep in my heart. James had taught me more than I had ever taught him. He showed me that strength is not in what we can see, but in what we believe. And I knew without a doubt that my blind son had the brightest future ahead of him. I hope this session was helpful. Please like and subscribe to our channel for more English stories. Take care, everyone.